You must be aware that Bangladesh did tremendously well in accomplishing the Millennium Development Goals. It did extraordinary performance in completing almost all the socio-economic indicators. And building on the success on the MDGs, Bangladesh is moving satisfactorily to implement its SDGs. The government has taken timely strategies to tackle to implement the SDG, and some of these remarkable strides are: the government has taken a whole of the society approach involving all the stakeholders, relevant stakeholders. Since the government solely cannot fulfill all the commitments of SDG implementations, they have involved the private sectors, they have involved CSOs, academia, business community, and etc. And even the relevant partners to tackle the situation, because Bangladesh needs a huge amount of financing to implement the SDG goals. Then Bangladesh is also doing SDG localization. SDG localization to reach the people of the grassroots levels. The main aim is to ensure their well-being and their safe livelihoods. Then the Bangladesh government has taken necessary steps to identify the areas of the goals, its targets and indicators through mapping of the ministries. I think this is a commendable job done by the government. Then the government also has implemented monitoring and evaluation framework through giving inputs about different ministries' responsibilities, who are the data providers, which ministry is responsible for which data, and they are constantly updating data on it. Then government has taken, they are doing continuously consultation workshops to prepare for the VNRs. As you know that Bangladesh prepared VNR for the last HLPF, and it did quite well. And there were a portion regarding the COVID-19 situation over there. In one of the part, it was there mentioned. So I think these are the remarkable strides taken by the government to implement the SDGs.
The 2020 VNR, which was the second VNR for Samoa, was strategically aligned to the review of the National Development Strategy and used existing consultations and data processes. The first VNR for Samoa in 2016 focused on already existing processes, as well as the review of the progress that was then made for the Millennium Development Goals. And from those initial reviews, we were able to identify already known gaps that needed to be addressed in the lead up to the second VNR. The SDG task force was set up as a recommendation of the first VNR, and it was the SDG task force chaired by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, which decided to integrate the VNR directly into national processes, utilizing already planned annual sector review reports and monitoring and evaluation frameworks. Samoa linked the VNR to several international reports as well, such as that for CEDAW, Beijing +20, etc., given the universality of the 2030 agenda. And because it was already a strategic move in that our Human Rights Task Force was also chaired by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade. By linking the VNR to reviews of the National Development Strategy, this ensured better alignment, improved data collection, and stakeholder engagement. It was also easier for the public to relate to the process, which helped them make the connection of these development perspectives nationally, and also linkages to the regional and global processes. And this was supported by an active public awareness promotion of the SDGs throughout the country, with initial emphasis on the schools. It would have been overwhelming and time-consuming for Samoa to conduct separate processes for all the international reports, the VNR, and the National Development Strategy. And the task force proved to be very useful in guiding how the VNR process would be well integrated into the national strategic development process. We were able to prevent a fragmented approach through demonstrating the interconnectedness of all the goals and the need to use the limited resources we had available efficiently and effectively. We had also considered a time framework for the VNR, and 2020 was chosen as the year to present the VNR, as it was aligned with the review process for the National Development Strategy. The second VNR built completely on the processes established in the first VNR. The SDG task force utilized national data processes that were established for the National Development Strategy, improved over time, and were utilized for the first VNR. We were also a very active participant of the regional SDG task force and contributed significantly to the regional roadmap for the SDGs, which provided regional trends on a 4-yearly basis. Linking to sector-wide reports and national processes also meant that a standalone budget was not needed for the SDG task force. Utilizing the sector approach and linking to sector reviews helped with the data collection and analysis for the VNR, and also ensured improved stakeholder and outreach that is crucial to the VNR. And perhaps a very important factor for us in ensuring early alignment of national plans and the SDGs was having a continuity of personnel in planning, budgeting, and aid management in this work for a period that's approaching 2 decades. And we were conscious of the resource framework we had to work with. So these are some of the things that we thought we would highlight as experiences, which to us have certainly encouraged us and helped us to ensure that there is alignment between the SDGs and the national processes, as well as the regional processes as well.
Hello, everybody. First of all, I want to thank the OECD DACA results community for the kind invitation, as well as to congratulate all the participants in this important matter. Well, my name is Hector Cortez, a public servant from the Peruvian Agency for International Cooperation, and today, very briefly, I'm going to lay out some points and facts about the progress made by Peru regarding the implementation of the SDGs at a national level. I would like to point out our commitment with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, especially under the current event of the COVID-19 and its impact worldwide, and in particular in middle-income countries such as Peru. As a first point, I want to highlight the high capacity and leadership displayed by the Peruvian government, especially from the entity in charge, which is the National Center for Strategic Development of Peru, as well as through all ministries and different levels of government that are involved with the aligning the SDGs with the national results frameworks. Indeed, through our National Center, Peru has prepared and approved a document with a vision that goes beyond 2030, known as Peru 2050, or in Spanish, Visión del Perú al 2050, which takes a reference to the 2030 Agenda. This document will be fundamental to update the National Development Strategic Plan and also be an important guiding framework for updating all national policies and plans. As a second point, I would like to highlight the multi-sectoral work in order to have a high availability of SDG indicators. This through the leadership of our National Institute for Statistics and Informatics. It should be noted that this continues to be an important anti-tanning test considering the multiplicity of statistical systems at different levels of our government, and that without doubt improving our system will allow us to monitor the achievement at a country level. Finally, the commitment of many sectors to implementation of the SDGs, which in practice translates into making efforts to align this global objective with their national and sectoral policies, as well as in the preparation of national and international reports. Well, I hope this gives you a little insight into Peru's progress and its commitment to achieving the 2030 Agenda and the SDGs. Many thanks.
Par rapport à la question, l'Afrique, d'une manière générale, a adopté les ODD comme plan de mise en œuvre pour la transformation du continent, en jugé par le nombre de pays, à savoir 51 pays sur 54, ont clairement exprimé leur engagement de opérationnaliser les ODD. Selon les chiffres du centre des ODD pour l'Afrique, parmi ces 51 pays, nous pouvons dire que 46 pays, soit 90%, ils ont déjà incorporé dans leur plan de développement, le plan national de développement. Parmi ces 46 pays aussi, nous avons 43 qui ont déjà priorisé des cibles spécifiques, également avec des indicateurs qu'ils considèrent qui sont pertinents pour leurs contextes nationaux. Nous avons aussi 36 pays qui sont 70% de ces pays qui ont adopté donc, les ODD, qui ont des feuilles de route donc nationales pour permettre aussi la mise en œuvre des ODD. Je pense que ceci prouve réellement qu'aujourd'hui, les ODD font partie, en tout cas, des éléments stratégiques que l'Afrique a choisi pour atteindre donc, les objectifs de prospérité et de développement en 2030. Maintenant, par rapport aux défis qui se posent donc, à l'Afrique, je pense aussi qu'AFCOP a fait un travail de diagnostic et de revue des piliers de la gestion accessible des résultats, ce qui est également un élément important qui permet réellement de voir comment l'Afrique peut utiliser la gestion accessible des résultats pour cette mise en œuvre, en tout cas, des ODD. Parmi les défis qui se posent donc à l'Afrique, nous avons les défis d'abord des données, qui est un grand problème pour l'Afrique pour suivre ces ODD-là. Nous avons le problème de la ressources financières pour la mise en œuvre. Nous avons également le défi des capacités, tant de la société civile que de l'administration publique. Nous avons les problèmes aussi de cohérence des politiques et de coordination entre les différents niveaux de gouvernement. Également le défi de lien entre les plans et les budgets au niveau central. Également le problème aussi de soucis de sensibilisation, qui est la banque sensibilisation au niveau des ODD, et les mécanismes budgétaires, l'exécution budgétaire qui sont un grand problème en termes d'exécution des budgets. Voilà les principaux problèmes du défi auquel l'Afrique fait face pour mettre en œuvre les ODD.